ranked anxiety and how to kind of get rid of it. Because having ranked anxiety is something a lot of people go through. So I think there are a couple of reasons why people go through ranked anxiety in the first place. Number one is just you care too much. And it sounds kind of weird because, trying to get better at a fighting game, using ranked is a great way to kind of gauge your overall improvement and to see how you're getting better. So, putting value or putting weight onto your ranked is kind of like a natural thing. But then you kind of get into this weird situation where if you care too much about ranked, you kind of get this ranked anxiety thing. So you have to kind of change how you're thinking about ranked itself to be able to kind of get over that anxiety. So you need to think of it as a tool. You can't think of it as winning and losing, right? What you need to do is, instead of like sitting down and like grinding ranked or playing like 10 sets in a row and like losing all 10 or like only winning one and like whatever, or even winning all 10, you have to think of like, why am I using ranked? And I think the best way to think of ranked is to think of it as someone going on a diet. You don't go on the scale like 15 times a day, because if you do, you're going to drive yourself absolutely fucking insane. It's like, oh no, I went down 0.01 pounds. That's 0.003 less than I should have by this time already. Now I'm not going to eat anything for an hour. Then you measure yourself again. It's like, oh no, I went up half a pound. How did that happen? I didn't eat. Well, maybe you had a glass of water or something, right? So you didn't actually get fatter in like an hour, but you just put like water in your body and now your weight went up and now you're freaking yourself out for nothing. So you don't want to go on the scale like 100 times a day. Same thing with ranked. If you're just like booting up, loading ranked over and over and over and over again and expecting things to change, it's not going to. So that's definitely what you don't want to do. You just want to approach it like losing weight. Maybe you go on the scale 3 times a week, 4 times a week, right? Or maybe just once a day every like morning, right? You play your ranked for like an hour. Then what you got to do is, the most important thing is you have to watch your replays and you have to use those replays not only just to find like an issue with your play, like what you're getting hit by. You also have to think of it as like, wow, I have all these different things to work on. And you have to remember that when you're trying to rank up, when you find things to work on, it should be fun. If you really enjoy fighting games, you kind of look at it as like a series of puzzles to kind of solve, right? It's not just like, I got to get good, I got to push buttons better. No, it's a bunch of puzzles and you got to put them together, a bunch of like riddles, you got to like, deconstruct them. So when you're watching your replays, you also have to think, okay, well, what could I have done here? Or my opponent did this sequence of attacks to me, or he or she pressured me this way, and I found it really difficult. How can I beat this? How should I have moved? How should I have defended? And then you take your notes, you go into training mode, you figure out what you can do. If you don't have any ideas whatsoever, you go on Discord or you call up your bros, you be like, yo, what do I do against this sequence? It's fucking piss me off. And then you get some advice from people. And then as long as you're trying to be open-minded about it, because 10 different people are going to give you 10 different answers, right? You try out all these things, and now it's like, okay, now I'm not just losing in ranked. I'm losing in ranked, but I'm getting all these different, like, equations that I need to find the answer to, the solutions to. And then you go into training mode, and then slowly, day by day, piece by piece, you make some notes, you write down what's bothering you, you find the solutions to it, and hopefully, by the time you're done labbing and asking people questions, you find the solutions. Then, once you've found that solution, your next job, the next time you go into ranked, or the next time you play like a custom room with a friend, oh yeah, before I go into that, I highly, highly, highly recommend asking someone to play sets against that character on the thing you're working on. Alright, so let's do something really, really simple. Let's say you're getting hit by like an overhead over and over again in a certain situation, right? Go into training mode, practice blocking that overhead. Okay, boom, good, I got it. Now, instead of blocking the overhead, say, can I interrupt the overhead? Is there something I can do to like steal my turn back? If there is, great, because now you have a better option rather than just blocking. Okay, just a silly example. The example doesn't matter. Don't worry about the example. You guys know what I mean. So then you're going to say, okay, now I know what to do against this move. Yes, I can block it, and maybe I can even interrupt it on reaction. Then you call up a bro, and you're like, yo, let's run some custom rooms, like, lobby. And you run it, and you try to do it in a real match. Great, now you can apply what you've learned. Now, the next time you go into rank, you don't have to be nervous because it's not about winning or losing. What you have to think about is, okay, can I apply the thing that I practiced in my ranked match? And if the answer is yes, but you lose the set, you can still walk away from that set feeling happy because now even though you lost in the rank and your points went down, you know that at least you're like 0.01% better than the last time you played. And I think that makes playing ranked way more fun. If you just like no life it zombie like rank queue over and over again, it's the most miserable experience. It is like negative fun. I think just loading up in like ranked queue and fighting games is one of the least fun things you can do in video games. Unless you're part of a group or something. But if you're just doing it by yourself in your room in your underwear at 3 a.m. on a Wednesday, yeah, it's a shitty experience. But it's true, because I've done it, you've done it, I know you've all done it. So I think that's really, really important. Think of ranked as a way to measure your progress, to find things you're bad at, get better at things you're bad at, put in the work to get better at those things, and then try to apply what you learned in your practice the next time you go to ranked. And it might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, might not be next week, but eventually, if you keep repeating that process, if you're doing it properly and you truly are getting better at those things, you will slowly start to see your ranked number go up. If you're able to do things you weren't able to do before more consistently and more often, there's no way your rank is going to go down. Unless everybody just keeps on getting exponentially better than you at a rate more than you, but then everyone's just grinding harder than you, and then like whatever, life sucks. But that's how it is. Last thing for ranked anxiety, the last thing you have to remember, if nothing else works, I don't know, this is going to be kind of negative and stuff, but there are like people and like children who go to bed without food at night. If one of your biggest stresses in your day is like, oh my god, can I win my rank matches? Then I don't know, you've got it pretty good, right? Their life could be worse. So if you're ever feeling really shitty and you have like a really bad rank experience, just remember there are like kids who like don't have food, and you feel bad that you lost some points on like some imaginary system. I mean, it sucks, but like, does it really? Could be worse. So try to put things into context is what I would say. All right. So that's my talk on ranked anxiety. Hopefully it helps. And anyways, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I hope you enjoyed that thing about ranked anxiety, and I hope that helps you. All right, guys, if that helps you, let me know in the comments. Or if there's something that you do that helps you with ranked anxiety that I didn't mention, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear it and share it with everyone else. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.